With half the world turned away from gods, Greek, Roman, and Mayan gods are relegated to the school curriculums in the Western world as elective classical myths. Who had ever imagined that gods would be jobless one day? Nonetheless, Vaishnavi Patel and Roshni Chokshi, the gifted Indian origin writers, are individually responsible for kindling the curiosity of young America in the cosmos of the Sanatana faith through their novels Kaikeyi and the Arusha Quartet, or is it the Quintet? There is an enormous buzz among readers in the West about the sagacity, vision, and mysticism of the characters in Ramayana and Mahabharata, some of whom feature in these novels. Their novels have prompted the Western world on a quest to explore the Indian spiritual epic. The West is stupefied to learn that centuries before the birth of Zeus, the god of the Western gods, in Hesiod's Theogony, existed the Sanatana scripture of Rig Veda, a canon on all spheres of human life, some of which are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Everyone from Zoroaster, Gautama, Mahavira, Moses, Christ, Muhammad, and Nanak appeared after Rama and Krishna had already left gifting humanity Ramayana and Mahabharata, the Google of human life and afterlife. Now come the brickbats. Both the young writers have been ducking the darts shot by the votaries in India for the exploitation of Indian deities for their own gain in these novels. Vaishnavi's contentious debut novel, Kaikeyi, is the construal of the legendary queen's persona in the epic of Ramayana. It studies Kaikeyi's selfhood in juxtaposition with the ensnared women of her age. Kaikeyi was the mother of Bharata, the ideal for fraternal love in India, after whom the country was named. Vaishnavi, a civil rights lawyer who writes at the intersection of myth and feminism, was facilitated by the now defunct pitch wars to find a publisher for Kaikeyi, where she was a mentee. The net is humming with the din about the liberties she has taken in reimagining the Kaikeyi passage in Mahabharata from where the epic springs. Vaishnavi's mea culpa comes as a caveat to the congregants to read as much as she has about Ramayana before judging her work. Here is the legend in a few words. Young princess Kaikeyi is given in marriage to an older king as his second consort. Manthara, her hunchback duenna, accompanies her as the lady in waiting. At Manthara's behest, Kaikeyi obliges the king to crown her son Bharata as the future ruler. Furthermore, the king banishes Rama, the heir apparent, to 14 years of exile in the forest to honor the two boons king had given Kaikeyi in past. And here are some of the obvious trespasses over a period of several millenniums, as Ramayana exists in various versions. Likewise, if the legend of Lord Rama's ring falling into the netherworld is taken into consideration, then there may be countless retellings. Tulsidasa's Ramcharitramanas is the story of familiar moral stereotypes deeply entrenched in mainstream society in India. In Adbhut Ramayana, Sita takes Kali's violent avatar to protect Rama. In Buddhist Jatakas, Rama and Sita are siblings. Jain Padmacharit describes Hanuman as human and Ravana is killed by Lakshman, as Rama, being a perfect Jain, is avowed to non-violence. In Thai Ramakirti, Hanuman is a Casanova and not a celibate monkey god. In Gond Ramayani, which begins where the classic Ramayana ends, Lakshman is the protagonist, not Rama, and has to go through the Agni Pariksha at Sita's behest. And in Amish Tripathi's novel, Rama, the scion of Ikshvaku, Manthara appears as the rich trader friend of Kaikeyi, treated as sister by Rama and his brothers. Vaishnavi's Kaikeyi is first and foremost a study of faith versus reason by her Western mind and Eastern heart. Her interpretation stems from the credence of her older generation, where her grandmother held Manthara responsible for Rama's dilemmas, and her mother believed the killing of Ravana was the destiny. Ramayana was the passage in which Every character's role, time, and fate were predestined. Vaishnavi seems to have read between the lines of Kaikeyi's story in Ramayana, which was dominated by the resolute patriarchy. Kaikeyi grew up with 7 male siblings, which included her twin, Yudhajit, the heir apparent who looked down upon womanhood. Before reaching her teens, she witnessed her father unceremoniously banishing her mother, following which she was married to an older man who already had a wife and a consort. Her lovelorn marriage produced a prince who would have no prominence in his adulthood. Likewise, she perceived God's relentless intrusion in the lives of the mortals and their betrayal of humans to bear the burden of fatalities in real life. She also couldn't reconcile with godmen and their unyielding grip on faith to the exclusion of women in sacred rites. These were some of the practices Vaishnavi wanted to rewrite, if not rescind, and she did all she could, even use magic when required in her retelling. At one point in the story, Kaikeyi is faced with God's will, which she has been struggling with all her life. Although she is aware that her resistance will bring ruination to her family, which would be written in blood in history. Nevertheless, Kaikeyi wants to leave a legacy where the girls in her later generation learn to claim their place beside men. Therefore, if you view the story from Kaikeyi or Vaishnavi's point of view, you would know who the villain is. Curiously, recent works of authors such as Patnaik, Divakaruni, Tripathi, Sanghi, Neelkantan, Sattar, and a few more have not reached the segment of readers in the West who are totally besotted with the Indian myth in Kaikeyi or Arusha. From Hesiod to Shakespeare and afterwards, no one has or can create characters as you find in Valmiki or Vyasa's epics. Just imagine, Shakuni enters Mahabharata not only with a backstory, but also with a premeditated fallout saga. He brings to the game of Chopper a set of dice made of his dead father's bones, which rolled to his advantage at his command. Only Shakuni knew the game would lead to a drama of epic proportions written in the blood of Dhritarashtra's progeny and legions of armed men. And the tour de force is that in both the epics, events that cause devastating wars were brought about by the least likely characters. As the epics unfold, it dawns on you that no Kaikeyi, no Ramayana, and similarly, no Shakuni, no Mahabharata. Blissfully, there are enough characters in Ramayana and Mahabharata to last the world of literature an eternity to unravel one by one. Authors such as Maya Dean and Madeline Miller took a dive into Homer's classics and have come up with increasingly popular retellings, namely Wrath Goddess Singh and Circe. Vaishnavi has found validation from the readers of these books